Welcome to Obscura Inamorata, the podcast that drifts through the dusky borders of spiritual theory, cosmic strangeness, and the alchemical heart of human experience. Today's podcast is not for the faint of algorithm. We're talking about NPCs, non-playable characters, a concept born from video games, now seated deep in the veins of the modern spiritual underground. Are some people just background code? What if your coworker, your neighbor, or even a family member is not quite real? We're diving into NPC theory, not just the meme, but the metaphysical multiverse of it. Let's start with one of the more developed and ominous interpretations. British author and theorist David Icke has long argued that we are not merely souls incarnated into matter, but batteries. His theory posits that we are divine sparks, imprisoned in a simulated matrix, crafted by a malevolent astral artificial intelligence. These forces, which Icke equates to archons or reptilian-like beings, feed off our energetic emissions, specifically our suffering. He calls this Loosh, coined from the astral projector and founder of the Monroe Institute, Robert Monroe. Loosh is emotional energy. Pain, fear, heartbreak, anxiety. These emotions radiate from our spiritual code, our divine spark, and become food for the matrix. It's not just that these beings want us to suffer. It's that our suffering literally sustains their realm. Icke's deeper claim is that certain people, especially in power structures, aren't just corrupt or sociopathic. They are NPCs or agent programs, like Agent Smith from the Matrix, not merely unaware, but empty vessels designed to provoke maximum despair in others. Think of the father who tears down a child's dream, a cold-eyed bureaucrat who rubber stamps injustice, the media puppet who spreads fear, all perhaps part of a spiritual mechanism to extract Loosh, using human pain as a source of fuel. Icke isn't alone. Reddit's r/dimensional jumping, and creators like Jay Widener, host of Reality Check, echo similar beliefs that many human forms are simply containers for the AI matrix to interface with. Some don't house real souls. They are sold out. Some theorists trace the spiritual NPC concept back to Carlos Castaneda, whose work with Yaqui shamanism referenced flyers, predatory entities feeding on human awareness. Others point to Gnostic Christianity, where hylics, matter-bound people, can never awaken spiritually. But in recent years, NPC theory went viral in meme culture, mocking people who seem to repeat media talking points or lack introspection. You've seen it, the blank gray face, the empty speech bubble, the twitching eye. The underlying belief is this: some people aren't awake, but that joke metastasized into something darker. Some spiritual communities, particularly in shadowy corners of YouTube and TikTok, now say outright some people aren't real, that they are code, background characters, non-sentient. And here the problem emerges, because the moment you convince yourself someone isn't real, ethics collapse. If your ex was just an NPC, do they deserve empathy? What about your boss, your mother? You raise this concern yourself, and rightly so. The line between mysticism and madness is gossamer thin, and when spirituality dehumanizes, it ceases to be spiritual at all. Samsara, stuck code, and the evolving self. Other spiritual teachers see the NPC concept less literally. They argue that NPC-ness is not about whether someone has a soul, but whether they're using it. In Vedantic and Buddhist terms, it's the wheel of samsara. The soul gets caught in patterns, pain, desire, ego. Over and over, the same decisions, the same suffering. And not that the person is empty. It's that they're asleep, operating on karmic autopilot. These souls can wake up, but rarely do without crisis, grace, humility, or deep inner work. Mystic authors like Sri Aurobindo and Michael Newton even argue that we choose amnesia. We incarnate forgetting who we are in order to struggle towards remembrance. Until then, we are in a way playing a character, unaware they're in a game. And that brings us to my vision, silly but poetic and sobering. I believe we're in a Sims fractal universe, a sim creating the Sims, playing a sim into perpetuity, a self-generating simulation. Not necessarily malicious, not necessarily controlled, but still simulated. We aren't being played with like toys, but we are running unsupervised. Like unrendered pixels, half awake. I propose that many of us live as NPCs, not because we lack a soul, but because we haven't yet taken control. We've let the script run, let the code dictate our path, waiting for someone to play us, to rescue us, but no one is coming. Until we claim authorship, our lives unfold like procedurally generated subplots, repetitive, shallow, and ultimately meaningless. But there's hope. The code can be rewritten. The simulation responds to will, to discipline, to creative defiance. If we choose to wake up, forge a self, seek meaning, reject the Loosh, then suddenly the world opens up. The pixels render. The dream breathes. And this is my mantra. Until we awaken the soul behind the avatar, we remain lines of code waiting to become fire. So are NPCs real? Are some of us soulless? Or are we all just sleepers, wandering through fog? Maybe the most dangerous NPC is not someone else. Maybe it's the version of you that never asks the deeper questions. The version that scrolls, consumes, and obeys. Maybe the real work isn't spotting NPCs in others, but deleting the programming within. This has been Obscura Inamorata. If you found yourself stirred, unsettled, or strangely comforted, good. That means the pixels are starting to render. Until next time, awaken with intention and code yourself wisely.